welcome back to my channel. I want to say thank you because last week we did the bathroom reveal and so many of you were so kind and I really appreciate it. A few months ago I was working on my DIY medicine cabinet, and then even though the medicine cabinet is looking beautiful, the inside is not finished. The inside is a little rough. So the plan is I'm going to show you the old footage of how we put it together so you could do it too if you wanted to for your bathroom, and then I'll tell you when we're at real time and we will start with the finish work. So when we were working on the room, we found a mirror and then we framed in the wall to match the size of that mirror because I wanted to use something vintage. But if you already have a hole in your wall, then you need to choose a mirror that will cover that hole. So you just want it a little bit bigger, like a few inches on all sides to cover the hole in your wall. What we need to do first is to create an insert to go into the wall. And this is kind of like making a little mini bookcase if you think about it like that. So measure the hole you have, and then we are going to start cutting wood. So we are mitering our corners on the frame we're using. So we're going to have boards on the top, bottom, and two sides. You're going to want the outside of your frame to be a tiny bit smaller than the hole you have in the wall. So get those dimensions and start cutting. To create the frame, we cut two pieces that are 14 1/8 inches long for the top and the bottom. Then we cut two pieces that are 21 5/8 long for the sides. These measurements probably don't matter to you, but I thought I'd put them in, and you can definitely tweak it for whatever size you have. Ours is a little bit small because we have a small bathroom. Cut the MDF that'll go on the back of the medicine cabinet and use a table saw to cut the wood down. We cut ours to 14 1/8 by 21 5/8. Next, we're going to cut the shelves. For this cut, go straight down on the board for a 90-degree angle. We cut ours 12 5/8 inches long. I'm only doing one shelf, and the fun thing about making your own medicine cabinet is you can make it however you want. So at the bottom, I'm going to have a toothbrush, my contact solution. I found the height of those items. That's how I knew I'd only need one shelf and how high we'll mount it later. The boards we're using to make the frame are 5 5/8 inches deep. For our wall, that's just a little bit too deep. So if yours are too long too, take the boards to the table saw and cut them down so that they're the perfect depth. So now that we have all the wood cut, we just need to attach it to make the frame, or the little mini bookcase that will go inside to make the inside of our medicine cabinet. The way we're doing this is we're going to clamp the corners together and use screws to attach the four pieces of the frame together in a rectangle. We like to use a countersink drill bit to make a hole and then add a screw with the drill where the hole was made. This helps prevent the wood from splitting. Repeat this for 3 times on each corner. So one corner has 2 screws on the ends and the other has 1 in the middle. Once you have the outside of the frame built, you're going to take it to the bathroom and test it to make sure it fits, because you don't want to go any further if it's not fitting. Once it fits, put the shelf in place. Mine is going 10 1/2 inches up. Clamp the shelf in the desired position and then use 2 screws per side to hold it in place. Screw an MDF board onto the back of the medicine cabinet. This is the back panel that will be seen in the back of the medicine cabinet. This can later be painted, or I think I'm going to wallpaper mine. Last, you need to put the medicine cabinet into the hole in the wall, and you're going to use screws to hold it in place. Now that the cabinet insert is created, we need to add a door, and this is where we're going to put the mirror on. I sent my picture frame to a mirror shop in my town, and they added a mirror. They put silicone on it to hold it in place, so that is ready to go. To add extra stability to the frame and make it prettier, we cut a piece of wood to fit on the back of the frame. This will be 17 inches wide by 23 inches tall. For attaching it, I used construction adhesive. So the wood of that mirror backing is a little rough, so I'm using wood filler to smooth them out. I'm also putting books on top of the frame so that the glue properly adheres and holds everything in place. Once the wood filler is dry, use a finger sander to smooth it down. Next, I'm going to paint the mirror, so I'm using painter's tape to cover up the mirror so I don't mess it up with paint. 2 notes: I should have painted it before putting on the backer because I ended up getting paint on the backing board. And second note, if you pick a mirror you love, this will really simplify this project and you know how to paint it. I took the mirror outside and painted it white with spray paint. I also painted the sconces and bow applique I'll be adding later to the frame so they'll all match. I wanted to highlight some of the pretty details on the frame, so I'm using my favorite spray paint hack. I use a plastic lid and spray paint some pink paint onto it and quickly use a paintbrush to paint the flowers on the frame. I repeated this with the gold for some of the detail, and just know this will ruin your paintbrush. As it dries, it gets hard and you can't wash it out. So just use a crappy one that you don't feel too sad to dispose of. Once the mirror paint is dry, we're going to use hinges on one side of the back of the mirror. Put the hinges in the desired place, drill pilot holes for it, and then attach the screws onto the backing of the mirror. Make sure the screws aren't too long or they'll poke through the front of the mirror and you don't want that. Next, hold the mirror up to the framed out cabinet. It's best to do this with 2 people. Use a laser level so it's held up straight. Mark where the holes on the hinge meet up on the wall. Drill pilot holes into the wall studs and then use screws to attach the hinge to the wall. The DIY medicine cabinet door is up. And now it's important to install a magnetic catch on the opposite side to keep the door closed securely. Attach one side of the magnet onto the wall and one onto the backing of the frame. So now we are to current time, and if you watch my reveal video, you know that I grew tired of the old wallpaper. It was just too dark for my personal taste, so I took that down and put up new wallpaper. So from now on, it's going to be a different wallpaper and look different, but it's the same space, just different wallpaper. Okay, let me show you where we currently are with the medicine cabinet. So it works great. You open it up. In here, here's my issue. So I didn't do a terribly great job with cutting the wallpaper. Like, that's a ridge that goes up that I can just cut straight. So you need to do that. And then I was thinking maybe I'd sand a little bit of this paint off and stain this. And then also I need something to go back here because right now it's just like that wood and it doesn't look great. So maybe, you know, a wallpaper would be nice. Over here, the back of this, I got some spray paint on it and I'm not sure if I'm going to do anything about it because honestly, when I open it, it's open for a second. I grab what I need out and I never see it, but it is bad. So I'm still thinking about that one. Okay, the first thing I'm doing is I am trimming the wallpaper a little bit better. I'm using a small X-Acto knife. Before I was using a large utility knife. And I don't know, I just had a hard time wallpapering the day I did it. So I'm using the X-Acto knife to trim the wallpaper perfectly flat with the wood, and sometimes I get a little bit of wood with it. That's all fine. And then one thing I discovered is that I have this like small finger sander is what it's called. It's just like really fine sanding paper that's on the back, and I'm using that to clean up the edge of the wallpaper. So if I get like a little bit of a jagged edge or sometimes like little strings come up, I'm just cleaning it up with the sander so I get like a nice edge. And then I am also using wood filler in all the screw holes so that those will kind of disappear. When dry, sand the wood filler smooth. Stain the wood on the frame and the shelf. I'm using the color Special Walnut. And then we're also going to wallpaper the back of the medicine cabinet frame. I'm using my rainbow stripe wallpaper. I could have done the same thing as the walls, but I thought this would be a fun pop and easier, honestly. And then I'm also using a wallpaper border. It's a smaller version of what I did below, and it has like some cute little scallops for a cute little touch. So now all I have to do is fill the medicine cabinet with my stuff, and it's time for the reveal. Okay, so I know the outside of the medicine cabinet didn't change its look at all, but when you open it up, it looks so nice on the inside. I love how the scallops look with the stripe. It's extra, it's a lot of look, but it makes me smile, and it's so fun to have something like beautiful when you open up your cabinet. And then while I was doing the medicine cabinet, I also did the inside of the hidden storage, and I constructed this exactly the same way. The only difference is I used a frame with art instead of a mirror, so this is a great option for if you need extra storage and you're doing the framing in a room, you can frame some out. I will be honest, when we first put the mirror onto the medicine cabinet, my husband was really ticked at himself because the inside cabinet is quite a bit smaller than the mirror, and so we could have made it bigger, but honestly, I only keep a few things in there, like my essentials I use when I get ready every morning and every night, so it's kind of fine with me that it's a little bit smaller, and I'd like just having exactly what I need in there. For a while, it seemed like these went out of style, that they felt like old-fashioned, and it's because the ones you buy from the store are kind of like icky looking. So when you can build your own, you can really customize it from the size, the look, everything, and you could see it really makes it for a unique feature. So I would love to hear what you think about it. I would love to hear if you would try something like this, if you like the customization. Let me know in the comments. And I just wanted to say thank you for watching the video. Your guys' support means so much to me. If you like the video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe.